Have you ever noticed that every time the godless left promotes any of the moral depravities that they hold so dear, a predictable pattern develops? Whatever their vice du jour might be, their initial sales pitch will be that it's morally acceptable. Of course, this inevitably fails because whatever they are pushing is generally so ghastly that it is impossible to sell on its own merits. So their fallback strategy is to play the old "you can't legislate morality" card. They will even wrap it around some absurd interpretation of American history in which our founding fathers sacrificed their lives and treasure so we could all live in a nation where laws are made free of any moral considerations. Then, for good measure, they will toss in something about the constitutional separation of church and state, despite the fact that such a concept is found nowhere in the U.S. Constitution. Sadly, this scam often works. America is in such a state of moral and intellectual decay that otherwise decent and intelligent people actually suck up this loopy philosophy. It is part of the culture of situational ethics, in which genuine ethics are seen as abnormal and perhaps even unpatriotic. In our brave new world of unfettered tolerance and moral relativism, it is not enough to believe that some things are not black and white but shades of gray. You must now believe that everything is a shade of gray and that black and white do not even exist. This philosophy thrives because the American people have become so open-minded that their brains fell out. Here are the facts. No governmental body can pass laws that will make an immoral person moral, so they don't try. Legislation is not about regulating beliefs, it's about controlling behavior. When a legislature passes laws against racial discrimination, it does not concern itself with the personal moral beliefs of people who sincerely think that racial discrimination is okay. The legislature has determined that discrimination is not morally acceptable and therefore it will not be legally permitted regardless of what some racist might think. In other words, society imposes its belief system on someone who has a completely different belief system. Any way you look at it, that is legislating morality. So don't let the godless left fool you. The law is nothing more or less than society's collective moral values, and it legislates that morality by regulating behavior. At the moment we abandon that principle, our legislative bodies will be left with no legitimate foundation upon which any law can be justified. If that happens, our country will be doomed to collapse into a state of bedlam and anarchy.